Hello, everyone. Welcome to Next Man Up, Average Guys, Average Takes, all sports. We're back. It's good to be back, and we'll hopefully be pumping out content with or without Nick because he's not here today. But I am here, Matt, with the other hosts, Connor, Tom, and Sean. And we're going to dive in to the sport that gets humans to watch it like it's zombies going towards food, and that would be the NFL. By the way, guys, before we get into it, did you see the ratings for the Pro Bowl?
They were probably terrible.
No, they were great. They were great. They outcasted the NBA All-Star Weekend in its entirety off of one event. I was dumbfounded. It's like people just mindlessly watch football. It's insanity. But and that's why we're talking about it, because people will mindlessly listen to football talk. So let's do it, guys. Free agency. The news that's relevant right now. Obviously, Russell Wilson has agreed to via his no trade clause to go to Denver. Denver gave up basically 3 years of their future. And Deshaun Watson isn't going to jail. So the trade market is going to go ballistic. So the floor is open. I'm interested to see if the Broncos do what they did with Manning, and basically they pitched him that scenario where, listen, this is obviously not the ceiling that you were before, but we have a good enough team to where if you don't lose games, we could do something special here. So let's open the floor. I don't think that's going to happen because the AFC is so good. But what are your guys' thoughts on the Wilson trade? Do you think it works out for Denver? Is it a 2012 adjacent season for them coming up?
Yeah, I'll start off. I think Denver made a big mistake personally, and I think yeah, Matt, I think you touched perfectly upon it. I think, listen, Russell Wilson is a phenomenal quarterback. There's no doubt about it. I think he's had a winning record every year in the NFL besides his previous year. Obviously,
right. And I believe they went 7-9 this
year? I mean, listen, yeah, he's a Super Bowl champion. The problem is with Denver is, obviously they've got a super talented team, young receiving core, a lot of good going for them, but they gave up 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, a 5th-round pick, and then, 3 other players, one of them being Noah Fant. To basically, they're going to be in the playoffs. Like, I do think they're going to be a playoff team, but they're not going to be a Super Bowl winning team because you got to go through Josh Allen and the Bills. You got to go through Joe Burrow and the Bengals. You got to go through Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. You're going to have Lamar Jackson back with the Ravens. That's already 4 teams that, in my head, are better than them. You also got to watch out for Justin Herbert and the Chargers if they start figuring out their defense over there. There's a lot of teams that they're going to have to go out and beat. And, you basically toss away your next 3 years of your future to basically go up against these young quarterbacks who are playing and only getting better to, I think, really go nowhere except, okay, they'll get into the playoffs. They might get through the first round, but I think that's as much as they're going to do. And I think to sacrifice that much of their future for that, I don't think was worth it. But that's just my opinion.
Sean and Connor, I'll let you hop in as soon as I make this point. Let's be clear here. Russell Wilson's ceiling was not Peyton Manning's ceiling. Peyton Manning is a far better quarterback than Russell Wilson ever will be. So this scenario could end up being a catastrophe because, in my opinion, Russell Wilson never even got close to the level of ceiling that Peyton Manning was when he was at his prime.
I think that this was a great trade for Denver and Seattle because Seattle reloaded with picks and now they're cutting cap. Like, they're rebuilding now. Right. I heard Lockett's on the market. So
feel bad for Metcalf.
Yeah. But they also got Fant back. So you got Fant, Metcalf, Lockett if he stays. You're going to get a quarterback. I heard they're in for Watson. So, but for Denver has their young receivers. They got a great receiving core. It's very underrated. And Sutton was out for most of the year. They got Judy, Sutton, Patrick, and who's that speedster from Penn State? Hamler. That's a lot of guys to throw to. And their defense they have a great secondary.
You know what's a great
Chubb.
Denver, it's crazy, guys. Denver's defense always shows up at home. They always show up. It's incredible. I watch that they don't give up. I think in home games they average like just under 23 points given up a game at home. Like it's insanity. And they lose because their quarterback was Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock, but they're never not out of a game. It's incredible.
I'm also gonna say that as the Broncos, like they didn't really have another choice. They got Mahomes and Herbert in their division for the foreseeable future. You have to get someone in there.
Connor, how do you feel about Denver?
I mean, like Tom said, they got a lot of teams to go through. I can see them making the playoffs, but I don't see them doing much more. It's not going to be just a Russell Wilson show. I think other players have to step up. I don't think he can carry them as far as they want him to. But if they're playing well and their defense has been playing like they have like the past couple of years, and if they improve, I think they have a chance. But yet again, you have the Chiefs, like Tom said, the Bills,
The division itself
the
is
Ravens,
stacked.
the Chargers.
Right.
The AFC is loaded now.
Loaded.
It's no gimme in the AFC. It's going to be a tight race, and I'm excited.
Now let's go to the Connor. I'll turn this to you as we go to this subject. Let's go to the garbage within the garbage, and that is the NFC East. They've also made a trade in the NFC. Carson Wentz will be switching conferences. He'll be back, not as an Eagle, but he'll be back in the NFC East for the Washington football team. By the way, for all
Washington Commanders, please get
no. For all the viewers, the Commanders, you don't take the name. Awful. It's always going to be the football team, just like how the
Can
Cleveland
we
Guardians.
just, can we just call them the Redskins?
It's we call them the Redskins on this. I could care less. It is not the Commanders. It is the football team or the Redskins, and it is not the Guardians. It is the Cleveland baseball team or the Cleveland Indians. I don't accept either name. But either way, let's dive in. Carson Wentz, arguably the second best quarterback in that division now, maybe, kind of.
Yeah.
That just speaks to how terrible that division is.
Exactly. I love it. That's why I said it's garbage going into more garbage.
I mean, I think it's a great move for the Redskins, Commanders, football team, Washington, whatever the hell you want to call them or whatever they're going by nowadays. I mean, I think Terry McLaurin. I was telling Tom in the car today. I think Terry McLaurin is going to have a field day.
Oh, he's so
with
good,
Carson
man.
Wentz.
He is.
I think those two are going to light it up. I think Antonio Gibson's going to have a phenomenal year. I think. Maybe a hot take. Maybe the Washington Commanders take down the NFC East.
Oh, NFC East champion, Washington Commanders, Washington football team.
Yes.
Now, Tom,
Yeah.
this hits home to you because you love you some Giants. Is this scaring you? Is this another team that's going to be in front of the Giants at least 2 games a year? That's going to be like why the hell do we don't have a shot?
Well, I think I'm going to go back. I'm going to kind of lead up to this. I'm going to go back to the trade. I think the Colts made a mistake by getting rid of Wentz. I think that Wentz overall had a good year playing for the Colts. I think he's been judged by a lot of people off of his last 2 games of the year, which he did not play well at all. And those were 2 critical games to get into the playoffs. So I get why people are like down on Carson Wentz, but I think looking at his season as a whole in a new system, he threw 27 touchdown passes, had 7 picks, and he had a good year. And I think that if they gave him another year, I think he could have really done better than what he previously did. But does Washington worry me? Not really, because again, I think Carson Wentz is going to have to go through growing pains of learning a new offense. Obviously, Terry McLaurin's a super talented receiver. He's going to be utilized. They have a very good defense, Washington, as well. But, the Giants are always going to be out of it unless they start focusing on the, non-skilled positions such as your offensive line, your defensive line. Those areas of their team, those are those positions that win you football games at the end of the day that everyone doesn't think about. If you don't got someone who can block for your quarterback, how is your quarterback going to make a throw? How is your running back going to be able to explode and, pick up a first down? And if you don't give your quarterback time, how is he getting it to your receiver? And the Giants, year after year, have not gotten an offensive line. We saw the issues with Eli when he was under center. And listen, Daniel Jones is an athletic guy, but he's still young. He's still getting his confidence. He's still, going through his reads, figuring stuff out. But I think this is going to be kind of one of those make or break years where if they don't put stuff around Daniel Jones, the Giants are not going to do well, not even going to be a contender for the playoffs. And I think, we could be looking at, maybe Daniel Jones departing from the team. I don't know.
Yeah. And Tom, I got to tell you, if we stayed on the subject of the Giants and needing to improve an offensive line, today would go by, tomorrow would occur, and we'd still be talking about it. It is the most ridiculous area of their team that they refuse to address. And you could go on for hours and days and weeks about how they haven't addressed it for multiple years. It's awful. But I'm on board with the fact that this is a do or die season for Daniel Jones. The guy hasn't proven anything. And by the way, the best ability is availability. He's hurt all the time, guys. He's hurt all the time.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. The Bengals proved, and Joe Burrow proved that you don't need an offensive line to make the Super Bowl. Apparently, the Bengals offensive line was atrocious. So I'm wondering. I think it is Daniel Jones. It is part offensive line, but at what point do you stop blaming the offensive line, and at what point do you move on and be like, Daniel Jones is not the guy? Most of our issues stem from him. He's not efficient enough to try to get us over this hump.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be. And Sean, I'll let you hop in with the 2 cents. But I think this first year for Joe Shane and Brian Dable, excuse me, is they're going to find out very quickly after this year. They're going to have their mind made up at the end of the year. Either keeping the guy because they see something, or they're cutting ties. It's not going to be this song and dance where there's a gray area. They're going to know right away because they knew right away with Josh Allen. That's why they wrote him. Now Josh Allen's great, and they're going to know right away with this guy. They're going to see his ceiling and then make the decision from there.
All I'm going to say on the subject is, yes, it's a make or break year, and the Giants have surrounded him with every offensive mind that they possibly could have. This is his chance. Like, if he doesn't take it, he's done. He's not going to be in the NFL.
No,
I agree.
Now, let's move on from the garbage within garbage here, guys. Let's get out of the NFC East. Let's stay in the NFC, though, because a man who made all speculation for months on end that he was done with the Green Bay Packers, it was over, I don't want to be here anymore, this is a bunch of BS. Oh, looks like he signed with the Packers for the most money anyone's ever made. So he's a nozzle for doing that, but thoughts on him staying in Green Bay? Is he the best? I think he's the best quarterback in the conference now because the NFC is so garbage.
I think the Packers, it's their NFC to lose.
I feel like it's
I think if
year.
But it's like, you don't have Tom Brady there anymore. The Bucks, I don't think are going to even be in the question unless whoever's quarterbacking them can lead them the way Tom Brady did. But I don't think we're ever going to see anyone lead the way Tom Brady did. I think it's the Packers NFC to lose. I think it was a good move on his behalf. Give them one more shot, and if he can't do anything with it, then I don't know.
Yeah, seriously, I literally feel like we had a podcast where we talked about Super Bowl favorites and the Packers were brought up, and then it just falls apart. It happened. I know for a fact I picked them to win one year. It falls apart every year. Tom and Sean is smart. Well, obviously, I think it's smart that he stayed. Smart that he stayed. Do you expect any different results? I honestly don't. They'll dominate the regular season. They'll get knocked out. They embarrass themselves.
Yeah, I think from Aaron Rodgers' perspective, it was very smart to re-sign with the Packers because that's probably your best chance and your best route to going to win a Super Bowl. I think for the Packers, it made no sense at all in the sense that, okay, you drafted Jordan Love 2-3 seasons ago, expecting this guy to take over the team, right? Okay, so now he's basically going to be sitting another 3 years on your bench. You just wasted a first-round draft pick on a quarterback you're not even going to use. Right. They could have drafted another player to put around Rodgers to develop them even further. And on top of that, Aaron Rodgers didn't show up in that game against the 49ers. They put up 10 points.
It's such a bad look.
And, he's without a doubt one of the greatest quarterbacks to play the game. But at the end of the day, when you look at his resume, you would expect a man of his caliber and, the teams that the Packers have had to have more than one Super Bowl. The guy hasn't been there since 2010.
Yeah.
Or 2012, I think, or something like that. Like, it's been 10 years, and they lose year after year in the playoffs. You kind of got to start saying to yourself, well, what are we doing wrong? And a lot of it has to be they're not putting the right pieces around them. But, they basically just spent so much money to keep this guy another 3 years. And now you got to figure out what to do with Jordan Love, who you're clearly not going to play.
Right. You might not even re-sign the guy. Sean, well, obviously, we're all thinking smart for Aaron Rodgers, but are you expecting anything different? I'm really not.
I'd say it changes if they get a wide receiver 2, but they don't have one of those right now.
Well, they got Randall Cobb. He's the best.
But I have to say that Aaron Rodgers, I think, pulled off probably one of the greatest power moves I've ever seen in sports. He got this team to go from saying that they want nothing to do with him to giving him like $50 million a season for 4 years. And he's like 38 years old.
Now, I don't know if the contract got confirmed yet or not, because there's always, that's the other thing. Aaron Rodgers needs to always have everyone talking about him. So even when he says he's going back to Green Bay, he comes out and says, no, the contract deals that Schefter and Rappaport are reporting, not true. Never signed the contract yet. I'm just going back to Green Bay. So, like, is the contract confirmed? Is it that huge deal, or is it like it's not confirmed yet?
No one has confirmed it. I think it's 1 year less, but that's still ridiculous.
I mean,
You're definitely going to be paying a lot of money. Like, he's staying. They got to be giving him something. Like, you know what I mean? He's going to be one of the top paid QBs without a doubt. So
I love watching him play, but honestly,
phenomenal.
But the way he just has the just voluntary instinct to take it out and swing it around like it's nobody's business. It's ridiculous. I actually can't believe that he announced he's going back to Green Bay, and then when the contract got reported, he decided to say that's not the contract. It's so weird the way he handles himself. It's odd. But we get to see him play a lot more football, so that's fun. He's not going to be the host of Jeopardy or anything like that. So let's get out of this conference, guys. I'm so tired of hearing they're garbage. So let's move over to the AFC. I think we're getting a winner out of the AFC next year. No NFC winner next year. I think we're getting a winner out of the AFC. And I think it's going to come down to Cincinnati, Kansas City, and Connor's going to love this, the Buffalo Bills. I think those are the 3 teams that are looking at Super Bowl success this next year. Thoughts?
I'm excited. I think the Bills have been on the doorstep for 2 years in a row now. And they keep losing to the Chiefs. You know what they say, third time's the charm. I think this is I think this is their year. I think Josh Allen, I put it in the chat, I think he's going to be the 2022 MVP. He's going to come out hungry. In that AFC game against the Chiefs, it was a shame he didn't get to touch the football again, because he had that game in his hands. And the defense ripped it out and threw it away. Defense was non-existent in the fourth quarter. I think Josh Allen's going to come out hungry. I think the entire Bills team is going to come out hungry. I think we're going to see the Buffalo Bills on top of the NFL in the 2022-2023 season.
There you go. I heard you were basically grieving up until that statement. I felt that it was awful. Sean, you're an AFC guy. Who's looking at potential Super Bowl success? Like the Packers or the Rams?
AFC, well, you already said the big 3. I think someone that's people are counting out right now. Well, not like counting out, but they're not putting them in that top tier. I'm looking at the Chargers. That Khalil Mack trade, you got him and Joey Bosa coming at you. That's pretty great. I'm kind of jealous.
Pretty terrifying for every quarterback in the league, but pretty great for them. Tom, AFC guys, AFC big dogs that you see? Because I don't think. I mean, you could say the Rams are repeating. They're not. They're not repeating. You could tell It's just Matt Stafford. He was good for one and done. I don't think they're repeating. If they do, it's because they re-signed Von Miller and he retires as a Ram, and Aaron Donald is the MVP of the league, and that's why they win. But Tom, AFC big dogs that you think are coming out of the AFC?
Yeah, I do like Connor's take on Josh Allen making an MVP run this year. We all hear Stephen A. talk about how Aaron Rodgers is a bad man, right? I think Josh Allen is an
And how he hates
extremely
the
bad
Cowboys.
man. He is just Josh Allen is just another breed, and this guy somehow keeps getting better and better every year he plays. And what I like about him is Connor kind of touched upon this is every play that he has a ball in his hand, this guy is giving it 110%. Like he's not sliding, he's not throwing the ball away. Like he is tucking the ball in and he takes ownership for what happens with that football. And he will give his teammates any possible opportunity to make a play. Like even if it's the last minute, we've seen him extend plays to the very last second before he's going out of bounds. And he somehow finds, his tight end in the back of the end zone, Knox. But I really think that for the Bills, I think that Josh Allen's going to be an MVP candidate this year, my front runner for MVP. I think for the Super Bowl, I really don't see the Rams, to your point, making another run to get back. I think Stafford had a good year. I think he played well. And I think he did what he had to do. I don't think he did anything outstanding that made your jaw drop. Like, holy crap, this guy is, the team. Because I think when you think of their top guys, you think of Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp before you think of him. But he did what he had to do. But I do think that if the NFC, if it comes down to it, it's probably going to be Packers, Rams. I really think Cowboys, I hate the Cowboys, but the Cowboys are probably that next tier team that could start coming into play. Like if they're ever going to win something, now's the time they got to do it. Like they have gone years after years. I think they've only 3 playoff games since they've won their last Super Bowl. Like they don't do anything. So if they can't make a run now with just basically the Packers and the Rams standing in their way, there's something wrong. Honestly, the 49ers will probably be good again. But for the AFC, I don't think the Bengals are going to go back. I think they're going to have a couple-year gap. I think they got some stuff to still figure out. I think it's going to come down between Chiefs, Bills again. Like to see the Bills get in there, but if not, listen, we'll see. But I like Sean's take before. Chargers think are going to have a very good year also. I'd watch out for them too.
Yeah, their defense has gotten a huge boost.
Yeah.
Now, let's dive into a man who was recently freed. Deshaun Watson is not going to jail. The allegations have been dropped. The lawsuit is over. They will go to a civil case in which they'll have to show physical evidence, but it looks like teams are going to be lining up to call the Texans front office. Boys, where is Deshaun Watson playing football next year?
There are 2 official bids in already.
The Panthers are in, right?
Panthers, and I believe the other team is the Saints, have officially made their bids.
So there's 2 teams that are already on him. So the Panthers are an option. The Saints are an option. Connor, Tom, where is this guy playing football next year?
I could see him playing in Carolina. Trying to think.
I mean, they'll try anything at quarterback, right? They were doing the PJ Tucker, Cam Newton routine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do. Are they gonna ride it out with Sam Darnold? Probably not. That guy stinks. But what are the Steelers doing? Maybe the Steelers make a bid for him.
Now, Sean, you are the Steeler fan. Do they have the cap? Do they have the capital?
They can see the thing that you have to remember that's extremely important to this whole situation is that Deshaun Watson has a no trade clause. So he has to agree to go to wherever. So I think Carolina is going to give the best package. They have the draft capital. They can make the cap space. Like they're going to give the best option to the Texans. I don't know if Deshaun Watson wants to go play in Carolina because they're kind of a dumpster fire.
Well, you're talking about a team that's looking for offers for McCaffrey at this point, so you're kind of right.
I think that he obviously fits a need for the Steelers. And if you're going to trade for a quarterback and you're going to give up your future, you better give it up for a guy who's 27, not 38 or like 32. Get the young guy. So
longevity over.
yes, like if I'm gonna mortgage the next couple of years, I want to know this guy is gonna be here.
I mean, I guess besides availability, longevity is one of the primary things to have in a quarterback.
So
I'm telling you, if the Steelers can sign a good quarterback like a Deshaun Watson, they become contenders. They have a great defense. They have a capable offense.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were. I mean, I know we were talking obviously off podcast. We were making.
Yeah.
But we were talking about how Ben Roethlisberger is such a dumpster fire. If anyone could throw the ball 10 yards farther, they'd be right in the mix.
Right.
And like credit to him, great career, probably a Hall of Famer, just like Eli Manning. But the guy was literally limping on and off the field. Essentially, it's not what you wanted to see. So I agree completely. If they get someone who can literally just play football to a higher level than Ben Roethlisberger did in his last year as a Steeler, they're right in there. And the AFC North looks even better to watch this year because then you have quarterback for the Steelers who's better than Ben, named to be named later, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. We don't need to talk about Baker. He's a dumpster fire. But those are three great quarterbacks. Well, good quarterbacks. Lamar's not great. He's good. So, but those are three teams that are automatically in a great like series matchup every time they play, in my opinion. Those games would be fantastic.
I think it'd be awesome. I think a great spot for Deshaun to land would be the Colts. I think it'd be an awesome spot for him to go. They don't have a stable quarterback right now.
Or the capital.
They haven't had one since they made Andrew Luck retire.
They haven't had one.
They don't have the capital.
Yeah, like Sean said, for them, it's a huge money issue, but that would be a phenomenal spot for him to go when you've got, Jonathan Taylor in your backfield. Michael Pittman's an up-and-coming star. T.Y. is a steady receiver that you can rely on. Pascal is solid. They have a good offensive line. Like they're just missing a playmaker, and Deshaun would fit that piece perfectly and get them over that hump to be, a contender in the AFC. But, I like Connor's point. The Steelers would be an awesome place for him to go. I mean, they have such a great receiving core, Najee Harris in the backfield. But hey, I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm sure he'll be surprised wherever he ends up going. But
that's another team that is like the Steelers. They're so close. They're a quarterback away because their defense is fantastic. Their O-line is great. They have a great running back. Their receiving core is decent, if not above average. So, like, you're looking at a team that's ready to go, ready to roll. Sean, what's up?
I just want to make sure that this is on the record. If the Cleveland Browns trade for Deshaun Watson.
Oh, they've been rumored, haven't they?
They have. You will see on the news my body splattered across the windshield of like an 18-wheeler when I jump off of an overpass. Because if I have to have 6 games every year against Burrow, Lamar, and Deshaun Watson, I would rather die.
I would feel so bad for you, honestly. And I never feel bad for the Steelers ever, and I'd feel bad for you. Let's go around the Zoom room and let's talk about what needs to be done for our favorite teams heading into the season. Let's start with the worst record in the Giants. Tom, what do the Giants, besides the O-line, because like I said, we could today would end, tomorrow would start, we'd still be talking about the O-line, but what do they need besides the O-line?
I think the Giants, if they want to give themselves a serious chance to have a decent year, probably, going around 8-9, 7-10, I think they got to go. You got to take, obviously, your offensive lineman as your first pick. I think your second round, you got to go with a defensive lineman. And then, from there, everything seems pretty. This draft, there's no super exciting players. So everyone's going to kind of look the same across the board. I think you got to get those players that are going to do the dirty work to get you a dub. I think they need to get probably another defensive lineman, in my opinion. But I also think, too, they need to go get a freaking receiver. Like, they don't have a receiver that can make a play. Like, honestly. I'm really not a fan of their receiving core. Sterling Shepard's hurt all the time. Kenny Galladay basically was like, you thought he was on the sideline, but somehow he was on the field. I don't know. I don't know where he was ever. And I just don't see anyone that could go up and make a play for Daniel Jones at all. I think they got to go get a receiver also. Take a chance on someone in the second round that has shown some kind of potential that could maybe give some excitement, some explosive energy.
Yeah, the receiver class this year is phenomenal. So I mean, it's better than last year in terms of depth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go to the best record because I'm sure they don't need to add too much. They were in the AFC Championship. Connor, what do the Bills need to get to the Super Bowl, maybe win it? What's the little needle that needs to be turned?
I mean, they're letting Cole Beasley go, so I think they need to add a solid option for Stephon Diggs. They need another receiver. I know they have Sanders. How long he'll be there for is another question. And what I wanted them to do the most, and they've been talking about it all over Twitter, is they reworked their punter's contract.
Does that save them a lot of cap money? Because the Giants cut their punter because they needed $2 million.
They're also looking to get oh my god, who's the rusher? It's not Chandler Jones, is it? Or is it
Bobby Wagner?
No. Fuck, I can't remember. It'll come to me. But
heard
they
they-
need to. I mean, Tredace torn ACL. Levi Wallace is a free agent. So if they're not going to re-sign Levi Wallace, they need to get a cornerback, a running back. Barkley's been rumored to join the Bills. I think if Barkley joined the Bills, that's an explosive offense.
Power move.
So they don't have to do much, but they got to do the little things.
Little things make you a lot better. Sean, besides the quarterback scenario, which is, and I'm going to laugh directly to your face if your starting quarterback is Mason Rudolph opening day. I'm sorry. But besides the quarterback problem, what else needs to be done?
Well, we definitely got to rebuild the O-line. That needs some work. Might need a middle line.
The Dolphins have to do that too. So
I'd say we got two options. We go all in for Deshaun Watson and we are a Super Bowl contender, or we go for free agency O-line, build it up, let Najee Harris be the focal point of the offense, and let Mason Rudolph just like game manage, or go out, get one of those mid-tier guys like Trubisky, Jameis, or Mariota. Like, give me one of those three. They don't have to be good. They just have to not be bad.
a stopgap.
Like, we're not going to find our quarterback of the future short of Deshaun Watson in this offseason. We just need a guy who won't be a detriment to the team. Like, let Najee Harris run the ball, rebuild the O-line. Quarterback just has to make a few throws a game. That's what we need.
So this is adjacent to the Yankees scenario at shortstop, because you're proposing that you go get a guy for the longevity, or you basically get a stopgap and you wait till next year to when you get the better options. So to bring it full circle, by the way, if Deshaun Watson becomes a Steeler, the whole nonsense with Brian Flores claiming all season that he wanted nothing to do with Deshaun Watson as the head coach of the Dolphins is a bunch of shit, as far as I'm concerned. So if he ends up being a Steeler, it's 100% because Brian Flores is in that coaching staff now. Now, to refer to my team, who's probably, I'm not going to lie, they might be a dumpster fire this year. They really might be. The owner might be taken out of the league because he's speculatively accused of giving his coach side bets to tank. So he might be forced to sell the team. So this could be a dumpster fire. But in terms of what they need to improve, obviously I said O-line's been a mess. That's pretty consistent for 3 out of the 4 teams that we all love here. They need another wide receiver. They got to pick a second round pick on a wide receiver. The draft class is so deep at wide receiver this year. They definitely got to do that, or they got to sign. They have the second or third most cap this year, the Dolphins. So they got to make some moves. They got to sign some people, get talent either back or new talent back into Miami. They got to restructure Xavier Howard's contract. They did it last year, but he went off again. He led the league in interceptions again. So they got to restructure it. That way they can they can have a solid cap to know what they can afford, what they can't afford. But yeah, fix the O-line. I'm tired of seeing it. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback. Don't forget the Jets. No, I want to forget the Jets. The Jets are awful. The Jets need an O-line too. They're terrible. If Nick was here, we'd need a new Zoom meeting because he talked for 15 minutes about how the Jets need a whole new team. But yeah, fix the O-line, man. It's Tua, Fitzpatrick, Brissett. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback. They're scrambling every play. It's ridiculous. So fix that. Get a new weapon. And maybe get Bobby Wagner. Okay, like show me something. The linebackers, we have like no one. Andrew Van Ginkels and Jerome Baker are the best linebackers. They're good players, but they're not even close to what Bobby Wagner ever was. So show me something. But yeah, fix the line, fix the linebackers, draft an edge guy or re-sign Phillips. But that's about it. They got a lot of work to do. A lot of teams, barring the Bills, got a lot of work to do. That'll do it for this episode of Next Man Up. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We barely use it, but it's so much fun to follow us, honestly. We upload on Anchor. It goes out to all the podcasts, wherever you listen, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. You got YouTube if you want to see our faces. And like and subscribe, as Nick would say. And we'll see you next time.
Subscribe, like and subscribe. Like